And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Forgot to had a little bit of a inside baseball moment there. My name is Hutch Bailey Jr. I'm broadcasting from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the Wayne Dupree program. Let me introduce Jason Robertson to the show. Hello.
Hey, top of the morning, everybody. And Hutch, welcome back today.
Back in the modern era.
Yeah, for those who don't know, you were out in the bunker, right?
I was, and I'll be out there tomorrow after the show too.
Oh, giddy up.
Just getting everything going, getting everything rolling. I imagine Wayne will be in here shortly. He's probably taking care of some parental things or something of that nature. But boy, there's a lot going on out there. Even though I was pretty much stayed away from it, you got to decompress. I've said that on the show a lot of times. You jump back into it, and it's like, man, every day is 30 or 40 headlines, man. It's unbelievable. And I think, to me, although it's a bit of a distraction, I think the Hunter Biden case is just they're not even trying anymore, man. They're just, this guy gets a deal. Nobody gets off on a federal gun charge like that. It just doesn't happen to anybody, man. There's people out there that have been charged with the same crime that got much harsher sentences that are speaking out. You know, it's bizarre. Welcome to the Wayne Dupree Show.
Mr. Wayne Dupree.
Here I is. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hutch Bailey Jr. and Jason Robinson, Wayne Dupree. We're bringing it live to you from wherever we are across the vast network of platforms. John Durham is I haven't changed my mind about hearings and stuff. The hearings are bullcrap. They are
fun to watch.
Huh?
Fun to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're in power, they're fun to watch. When you're not in power, they're not. But John Durham is a throwback to. He seemed like a throwback to what's right about the country. You know what I'm saying? And I was watching him earlier. Yeah, I mean, yes, I do have some videos. One of them just happens to be Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff tried to change a couple things this morning, and
Durham shut him down.
No, Jim Jordan shut him down.
Or Jordan shut him down too, yeah.
Jim Jordan shut him down because I was like, wait a minute, wait, hold on. What's going on here? I think that's it right there. Let me
about a pending investigation, and yet you didn't you?
I'm not exactly sure what
when the Inspector General issued a report saying that the investigation was properly predicated, you spoke out in violation of Department of Justice policy to criticize the Inspector General's conclusions, didn't you?
I issued a public statement. I didn't do it anonymously. I didn't do it through third persons. But
nonetheless, you violated department policy by issuing a statement while your investigation was ongoing, didn't you?
I don't know that. If I did, then I did, but I was not aware that I was violating some policy.
And you also sought to get the Inspector General to change his conclusion, did you not? When he was concluding that the investigation was properly predicated, did you privately seek to intervene to change that conclusion?
This is outside the scope of the report, but if you want to go there, we asked the Inspector General to take a look at the intelligence that's included in the classified appendix that you looked at, and said that ought to affect portions of his report.
And you thought it was appropriate for you to intervene with an independent investigation by the Inspector General because he was reaching a conclusion you disagreed with. You thought that was appropriate.
That's not, the premise isn't right. The Inspector General circulated a draft memo to a number of agencies and persons. Our group was one of them. We were asked to review that draft and bring to his attention any concerns that we had or disagreements.
And when he refused to change his report, you violated
Mr. Chairman, I insist on regular order.
Well, it's not even his time, it's Ms. Lofgren's time, so the gentleman yields back to Ms. Lofgren, who's not here, so the time has expired. Mr. Durham, in the summer of 2016, did our government receive intelligence that suggested Secretary Clinton had approved a plan to tie President Trump to Russia?
Yes.
Was that intelligence important enough for Director Brennan to go brief the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, the Attorney General of the United States, and the Director of the FBI?
Yes,
And was that intelligence put then into a memorandum, a referral memorandum?
yes.
And was that memorandum then given to Director Comey and Agent Strzok?
That's who it was addressed to, yes.
Did Director Comey share that memorandum with the FISA court?
I'm sorry, can
Did
you,
he share that memorandum with the FISA court? Did Director Comey do that?
I'm not aware of that if he did,
Did he share it with the lawyers preparing the FISA application?
not to my knowledge.
Did he share it with the agents on the case, working the Crossfire Hurricane case?
No.
Didn't share it with the agents on the case. Can you tell the committee what happened when you took that referral memo and shared it with one of those agents, specifically Supervisory Special Agent Number 1?
We interviewed the first supervisor of the Crossfire investigation, the operational person. We showed him the intelligence information. He indicated he had never seen it before. He immediately became emotional, got up and left the room with his lawyer, spent some time in the hallway, came back.
He was ticked off, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was ticked off because this is something he should have had as an agent on the case. It's important information that the director of the FBI kept from the people doing the investigation.
The information was kept from him.
Who's Charles Dolan?
Charles Dolan is a public relations person here in Washington, D.C. He had prior involvement, professional involvement with the Russian government, representing Russian government interests. He was a person that was associated with Igor Danchenko.
He was also buddies with the Clintons, wasn't he?
He had held positions when President Clinton was
In
president.
their campaign advisory to Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign, executive director of the Democrat Governors Association. That's the same Charles Dolan we're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah, and wasn't he also a key source for information in the dossier?
he provided some information that was included in the
Ritz-Carlton
dossier, yes.
stuff, the Manafort stuff. In the Crossfire Hurricane investigation and the Mueller investigation, when the FBI interviewed Mr. Dolan, what did he have to say?
To my knowledge, they didn't interview Mr. Dolan.
They didn't interview this guy? Source for the dossier, key information in the dossier, buddies with the Clintons, they didn't talk to him?
No.
No, I mean, we report on that because even Christopher Steele in October 2016 identified Dolan as somebody that might have information. The
I find it
Bureau-
interesting they didn't talk to him. What, were there agents on the case who wanted to talk to Mr. Dolan, Mr. Durham?
Yes.
What happened to analyst number 1? She kept pushing to talk to Mr. Dolan. She was ultimately turned down. What happened to her the day that she was turned down and said, no, we're not talking to Dolan? What happened to her?
At or about the same time, she was assigned to a different project.
They moved her.
investigation.
They said, we can't have this. We can't have that. We can't be looking into the Clintons' buddy, a key source for the dossier. They reassigned her. And then what did she do?
She memorialized it.
She entered a memo to the file because she said, some point the inspector general is going to want to know this information. I'm going to make it sure it's recorded contemporaneously. She put it in the file. I mean, it's crazy. They didn't talk to the key source. They kept key intelligence from the investigators. This is how bad this investigation was. But here's the scary part. I don't think anything has changed. The day your report came out, 5 weeks ago, May 15th, you got a letter, Mr. Durham, addressed to you from the General Counsel at the FBI, Mr. Jason Jones, writes you this 6-page letter, and he says, not to worry, everything is fine. It's all been worked out at the FBI. He even says on page 2, he says, had the reforms implemented by current FBI leadership, summarized below, been in place in 2016, failures detailed in your report never would have happened, and he underlines it. Said this would never happen because of the reforms we implemented in 2019 and 2020. And then he says on page 4, one of the specific reforms, he says, FBI executive management has instructed investigations should be run out of the field and not from the headquarters. That statement is not true. 5 weeks ago, the FBI wrote you and said everything has changed when in fact it hasn't, and a statement in there is absolutely false, and we know it's false because 2 weeks ago today, we interviewed Stephen D'Antuono, former head of the Washington field office, Mr. Durham, and here's what he said in his transcript. Head of the Washington field office, when the Trump classified document investigation began, he said, that case was handled differently than I would have expected it to be, than any other cases handled. We learned a lot of stuff from Crossfire Hurricane, that headquarters should not work the investigation. It's supposed to be the field offices. My concern is that the Department of Justice was not following these principles. Nothing is, and that's the thing that scares me the most. Nothing has changed. Mr. Durham, I'm just finished with this. 60% of Americans now believe there's a double standard at the Justice Department. You know why they believe that? Because there is. That has got to change, and I don't think more training, more rules is going to do it. I think we have to fundamentally change the FISA process, and we have to use the appropriations process to limit how American tax dollars are spent at the Department of Justice. I yield back.
Yeah, I bet you yield back. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jim Jordan earlier. Let's see. Am I frozen?
No, you're slow, but you're not frozen.
Yeah, I got some memory issues, it looks like here. Look, I watched the whole thing this morning. Where's Nadler? Nadler came and basically said, this isn't about your investigation. This is about Trump and the documents at Mar-a-Lago and stuff. He tried to change the whole goddamn thing.
I'll tell you, you look at this and be prepared for the knives coming out in 2024. They cannot allow us to win.
No.
They're building new prisons if we win. So look for them to do every trick there is. And also the other thing on that is tune in Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. on Fox News for the Jim Jordan show. That'll be coming up in a couple years.
Right.
He's pretty good at that. He's pretty good at it.
What? You know what's funny is these hearings, like nothing's going to happen, right? I mean, it's going to make for some good video clips. I think the one positive that'll happen is I think you see, especially on the left, where the narrative is starting to crack, where people are realizing, wait a second, they lied to me. And you can see by the Democrats' line, I've been watching most of the hearing this morning. It's great viewing. The Democrats get on and, like Wayne says, let's talk about the documents of Mar-a-Lago. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And Durham just stares at him like,
I know, like,
I have nothing to do with any of that. Why are you giving a speech about the Trump documents? And then he gets back to like, no, you don't understand. We've launched an investigation in 3 days into a presidential campaign with no foundation. Like, everybody should be appalled. And I mean, if we can't agree on that as citizens, like,
I think the trend is changing, though. I think there's different signs that you see. I was reading about San Francisco and all this crime, this whole leftist liberal thing all ends in failure. It's all built on a house of cards. And they're out there, and for years they said, oh, crime's okay. Don't worry about crime. Well, now all the businesses are leaving San Francisco, and the local politicians are starting to say, wait a minute, we can't do this. We're going to lose our empire here. And I think that's the case. You look at that, you look at education. Even my niece is getting homeschooled now. I mean, that's something you never heard about back in the day.
Yep.
It was there, but nobody did it.
You know what you mentioned watch out in 2024. And ladies and gentlemen, we're broadcasting on Red Voice Media Network channel. Don't forget to check out their Rumble channel on rumble.com/Red Voice Media. We usually broadcast 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we love the network. We love what they're doing over there. Check them out at redvoicemedia.com. Use promo code Wayne, matter of fact, if you want to get some of the premium content. But you were talking about earlier about watch out for 2024. This is how rabid, this is how nasty, this is how incompetent that the Dems are. Representative Cohen.
A nothing burger. You got no convictions. You got nothing. It was all set up to hurt the Mueller report, which was correct and was redacted, to hurt the Bidens and to help Trump. And you were a part of it. You have a good reputation. You had a good reputation. That's why the two Democrats supported you. But the longer you hold on to Mr. Barr and this report that Mr. Barr gave you as special counsel, your reputation will be damaged. As everybody's reputation who gets involved with Donald Trump is damaged, he's damaged goods. There's no good dealing with him because you will end up on the bottom of a pyre. I yield back the balance of my time.
Sure.
Can we presume the gentleman's undecided on how he feels about the former president?
Gentlemen, witness can respond.
Yeah, my
Respond to
concern
what?
about my reputation
this is great.
is with the people who I respect, and my family and my Lord. And I'm perfectly comfortable with my reputation with them, sir.
Well said. God bless you. The chair recognizes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That was
good.
That was
Yeah.
smooth.
That right there was nice. I like that. Yeah, but I'm watching it all transpire this morning. I know why he was there. I'm glad. I'm glad he was there. And yesterday, last night, when they came out of the meeting, in the meeting, the representative said that it was a bipartisan type of thing. They were asking him questions and he was giving them answers, and it was a bipartisan thing. But he said, but then again, tomorrow, getting in front of the cameras and stuff, and everything's going to be different, which it is today. It is today. I mean, Sheila Jackson Lee asked him, it's like, how many times did you text the AG?
William Barr.
He was like, well, I work for the man. I work for the man. But you were doing an ongoing investigation. You were contacting him. He contacted him like 8 times during 11-month stretch. Hank Johnson got in there and said, you spent how much did you spend? How much was this whole thing? It's like $6 million. Don't you think that's a waste of the taxpayers' money? That's Johnson. And the only reason why I got him down is because Johnson, these Dems, again, they can't read. Well,
Somebody voted for him. People voted for that guy.
Right, for Johnson, right. But you know what? They can read. I've been saying they can't read because they're illiterate. No, they can read. Those talking points, whoever is typing these things up in the dead of night for them to read, the think tanks or whatnot, it's like they're robots. The
CIA.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't know. What really throws them off is when they ask a question. That's what happened with Durham. Hank Johnson asked a question. Durham said, no. He said, no. Okay. Well, yes, it did. Sort of thing like that. I'm like, oh, man.
Here's the thing you got to realize, though. And we sit here making fun of them. And like us three, we're going to consume half to 2/3 of that Durham investigation, right? Or the hearing. We're going to listen to it. A lot of our viewers might tune in and listen to it and watch it. But all those Democrats giving those speeches, that's what's going to get clipped, shared on social media, and that's what's going to be on CNN and MSNBC and all that. So like Shift a couple times is like, so they didn't arrest so-and-so. They didn't arrest so-and-so. And Durham's like, I wasn't investigating Hunter Biden.
Right.
But they're just going to clip off Durham's response
and
just say, Adam Schiff, it was on like Adam Schiff owned Durham, and it's going to be the Fine People hoax all over again.
That's why the intelligence community is the one that wrote those talking points.
Right.
They set them up to say that so they could do that.
Right. Yeah, because they're asking things that have nothing to do with this hearing. They're just giving speeches, and then they're trying to elicit some response. And I mean, tune in tonight to MSNBC, CNN, or whatnot. They're going to play those. They're going to play Shift, and they're going to play Swalwell's speech, and like asking questions too, where it's like, so you're saying you didn't indict Joe Biden? And Durham's looking like, yeah, that wasn't what we were doing, and just answer the question. Well, no, we didn't indict Joe Biden. Boom, that's going to be the headline. And I mean, it's just pure media manipulation. And meanwhile, the fact is Durham wasn't investigating any of that. He was investigating the conduct of the FBI.
Yeah, what a beautiful morning it was. Though that and there were many more videos, but I have to say that I'm glad Jim Jordan is up there right now, because he's knowledgeable about the whole thing. He has really everything down. It's just that Congress doesn't have the enforcement.
handcuffs.
Right. They don't have it. And if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. And you
And
just
if the Justice Department's corrupt, you ain't going to get it.
no.
Ask
Well,
Hunter.
and that's the thing is you have to understand governmentally what they can do and can't do. You know, they can defund, like the House can do some measures to defund some of these agencies. Like, why aren't they doing that? You know, they can't issue subpoenas. So the hearing's kind of meaningless. And that's part of what Durham was saying. Like, we were only doing this one thing. And yeah. Although I'd love to hear from George Papadopoulos. His name's come up like 5,000 times.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
And this is totally funny because that was one of the origin stories of Russiagate. Was the story goes George was talking to some Australian and said something about like, oh, Russians are going to give us information. Completely disproven. Like, it has factually been like that didn't happen. That wasn't a thing. But if you just like listen to the video, you hear George's name come up like 95 times. And it's like, why are you bringing this up?
I think the thing that really gets me is when Durham talked about, and Jordan, about the FBI director having these documents and he never shared them any lower.
Right.
And you got the first line guy in the FBI on the case mad about that. So, you know, I'll tell you, if you work for the Bureau, I'd quit. It'd be time to get out, because you're gonna go somewhere. If you figure this out in 2 years or 3 years and you quit, then your resume is going to be toxic.
Yeah.
When you have FBI on your resume, that's going to put you out of work. Nobody's going to hire somebody with that on there,
Right.
unless you get out soon.
Respectfully, I disagree. They've been doing this game since the 50s.
But
60s.
we were only finding out about it now.
You know, it's funny because I think that's one thing that's different is before they would do shenanigans and it would take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to figure out what the shenanigans are. And now the shenanigan to debunk is pretty quick. And even like with some of the social media like Twitter, although it's kind of yes and no, like some of that stuff is like something comes out and it immediately gets like, no, that's not true. And they don't.
And that's one of the things you can thank Donald Trump for.
Right.
We never knew this deep about what's going on. And another way it's different is that they're trying to lock our favorite guy up.
Right.
You know, that's a big deal. When that many millions of people want him to be president, they're paying attention to this.
Yeah.
And the number's not moving. Like the amount of Trump supporters, you know, there's that 20, 30% or whatnot. How, you know, if he got 76 million votes, there's like 45, 50 million. We ain't moving. You know, there's another 20 some million that will vote for whoever the Republican nominee is. But there's like 50, 60 million people that voted that we just ain't moving. Do whatever you want. We ain't moving. He's our guy. Let's give him another 4 years. Let's see what he does with it.
I think one of the best things that the president did was his economic team putting those tariffs on China.
Yeah.
I think that's something that the Republicans would never. As a matter of fact, boom, Ron DeSantis privately tells corporate donors he is against U.S. tariffs on China.
I saw that.
That's a big deal. I mean,
That is a big deal.
that's something that Republican voters used to scratch their head, myself included, going, why don't we fight back against these people? We're giving our stuff away.
Mhm.
What is going on? And then when Trump did that and bailed out the farmers, that was great to me. And that's why we got COVID.
Well, and it's funny too, because I mean, just so everybody hears that clearly, Ron DeSantis came out. He hasn't said it publicly. He said it to a bunch of his rich donors that he doesn't support Chinese tariffs. So he's not telling the truth to the American people. And if somebody didn't record it and leak it, it wouldn't have made it out. But when you all say like these financial donors, they won't change who Ron DeSantis is. They won't, they won't have any sway over him. No. Nothing is free. All this donor money Ron DeSantis is getting is not free. His donors expect him to perform, and not putting in tariffs as part of that.
And what do we say? If you want to see what Ron DeSantis is, you want to see what a snake he is, if you're still on his, Go ask him what his national economic policy is, because that's what it is right there.
Yep.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say, does anybody know it yet? Has he really said it publicly? Or
It's not on
Yeah,
his
just
website.
look at the donors. Whatever
Yeah.
their policy is, that's his policy, and that's taking not tariffing. That's CCP stuff right there.
Exactly.
Well, that's what's funny.
And you know, we were talking about that with Nicole about the CCP and DeSantis. Even though it's not right out in front of you, there's a connection there.
BlackRock, yeah,
Right?
sure.
Yeah, there's a connection there. But Jay, we'll come back to you. We have to get ready to take a break.
Take a break.
Before we go to break, U.S. approves chicken made from cultivated cells.
Oh, jeez,
The nation's first lab-grown meat.
that's disgusting.
For the first time, U.S. regulators on Wednesday approved the sale of chicken made from animal cells, allowing 2 California companies to offer lab-grown meat to the nation's restaurant tables
Oh man,
and eventually supermarket shelves. They're trying to make everybody into vegans. I mean,
trying to kill our farms,
if that's the case, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting,
and you know they're not going to label it.
You know that. Because it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to hurt the farmers. But lab grown meat, really? Seriously? Look, I heard before we go to break, and this is going to kill my daughter if my daughter ever finds out. You know that American cheese slices?
Yeah,
they don't put American cheese slices on the label. It's American slices or something like that. It's because the amount of milk, the amount of cheese,
It doesn't legally qualify as cheese.
Right, exactly. So that's why it doesn't say cheese slices; it just says slices. But
Hey, everyone, to blow your mind,
cheese.
look at shredded cheese. One of the ingredients is sawdust.
I know. And well, same thing for the cheese that you put on your spaghetti, the Parmesan cheese. When I found that out a long time ago, I was working for a government contract, and the young lady said, "Yeah, the cheese has sawdust in it, so it doesn't cake up." And I went home and I looked at it. You got to look real hard, and you can't tell. So that's why now I just go and get Parmesan cheese, and
that's what I do. I was getting ready to say
myself.
that. Don't buy that processed stuff. Just
no,
grate.
man, no.
I was going to say,
When you grate it, it even melts a little bit on there. It's good.
Exactly. It melts better.
Well, even just regular cheese. When Jen and I got together, I remember one of the first things she did is, we got to get a grater. And we were, it started like every time we'd have shredded cheese, which we like cheese, we're from the Midwest. She's great. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, well, I don't want to feed you sawdust. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh. That was the first time I had ever heard it. I'm like, no way. And it's right on the ingredients.
I go even further than that. I got a big meat grinder.
Oh,
I grind my own hamburger. I know exactly what's in my sausage.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, man. You know that the saying, you don't want to see the sausage made. Well, you come see mine made, and all it is pork shoulder.
right.
There's no extra stuff in there.
I think everybody was watching that ABC special where they went to the supermarket and saw them put new ground meat over bad meat and put it back on the shelf.
Hey,
So when you cut it, you got your red bright on top, but you got your brown in the middle type of stuff.
Damn.
Yeah. That was
One time I bought a pound of ground beef, and I'm looking at it, and it's got this these little red dots and little pink dots in there. And what it was the trays that it comes in, the styrofoam trays.
Yeah.
You get somebody must have ground one of them up.
Oh, geez.
I had to throw it out. I was like, damn.
If you ever work in food
Oh, my
production,
God.
you will be like, I'm going to start my own farm.
Yeah.
And the stuff that makes it in there it's wild.
When you buy bacon, that's not smoked. That's liquid smoke. That's why it says bacon with water.
Right.
That's just a flavoring. That has nothing to do with smoke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, We're going to have more here with Hutch, JR, and myself. We'll be right back.
Biden and his cronies have lost over $3 trillion of America's retirement savings in 2022 alone. With inflation running rampant and the stock market crashing, do you have a plan to protect your wealth? Our friends at American Alternative Assets help you protect your retirement savings by rolling over your IRA or 401k into a gold IRA. Fact is, you can hold physical gold and silver in your retirement account while maintaining its tax-deferred status. Visit protectfrombiden.com today to get your free wealth protection guide. This guide will give you all the answers you need. American Alternative Assets is an A+ and accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. Protect your savings now before it's too late. Visit protectfrombiden.com. Individual results may vary. There is no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. It's a crazy world out there, and we're facing more uncertainty than our country has faced in a long time, if ever. And the most important advice that we can give you and your loved ones is be prepared. Most people don't realize they need something until it's too late, whether it's a natural disaster, a sustained power outage, political upheaval, or God forbid, war. You need to be prepared. Don't put yourself in that situation. Have food and water on hand to provide for you and your loved ones during the worst of times, and then pray you never need it. Thankfully, we have just the solution for you. Heaven's Harvest has everything you need to prepare for the unexpected. You get prepared, and you support a pro-America Christian company that shares your values at the same time. Everyone wins. And the best news is, you also get discounts on emergency survival foods, heirloom vegetable seed kits, water filtration and storage kits, and loads of other survival resources, such as guides on how to grow and preserve your foods. So get ahead, be prepared, and survive with a company that shares your values. And we have you covered with great discounts. Go to heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10%. Again, that's heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10% on your order.
I skipped the early Republican primary debates, the first being in August in Milwaukee. You still in that mindset?
I like to debate. I mean, I probably am here because of debates. I don't mind it at all. But when you're 40 points up and you're running against, and even one came out today that you saw 51 points up, why would I let Ada Hutchinson, I call him Ada because, you know, his name's Asa, but I call him Ada for whatever reason.
Why is that? He needs...
I think he's weak.
Okay.
I think
Which
he's
one of
ineffective.
us is lagging?
But why would I let him, Chris Christie, who's got nothing going except I could be tougher on Trump. He's not tougher on anybody's slop. But why would I let these people take shots at me? In other words, hey, Ronald Reagan had primaries. They all had primaries. I had one last time. And Biden, he's got somebody at 21%. I just saw a number, 21%. JFK Jr., who's a very nice person. I know him very well. He's a very, very fine person. He's at 21%.
But DNC's not going to do any debates. He won't agree to them.
But
so what does it mean if the two front runners for the White House, you and President Biden, duck the debate stage?
Oh, no, we have to debate. No.
Primaries.
Oh, yeah, we have to. He and I have to definitely debate. That's what I love. But the two of us have to debate as the two even if the polls are...
So you haven't made your definitive decision on the primary?
No, I haven't, but I do say, why would I allow a hostile network, Fox, you know, pretty hostile. Why would I allow...
You get a fair shake.
Okay, but I mean, this is a fair interview, but it's hostile. It's on the hostile side. I wouldn't say it's a puff piece, but that's okay. Hey, Brett, why would I allow a hostile network and then allow people that are polling at zero? They're polling at zero, many of these guys. One of them is zero with an arrow left. Now, I think that's a mistake. In other words, a zero, that's less than zero. Christie's like at 1% or less. Many of them, Nikki Haley's at 2%. She hasn't caught on because everyone knows she's, you know, highly overrated. You know, I put Nikki there because I liked the governor, the lieutenant governor of South Carolina. And Henry McMaster has turned out to be a great, great governor.
That's why you put her in the position for the UN?
I got two for the price of one. I put her over there. But much more important to me, because Henry McMaster was great, always great. And people love him in South Carolina. And I got him to be governor of South Carolina. That was a very big thing to me. And I put her in that other position. But look, Nikki is very low. They're all very low. So why would I allow people at 1% and 2% and 0% to be hitting me with questions all night? You know.
And he's right. He's right. Why? I mean, Brent didn't really give him a response for it. But you know what though? The debates are coming up. You got Brent Baer and Martha McCallum that are going to be the
Moderators.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I just can't get Megyn Kelly out of my head.
I'm surprised he didn't mention that when he was talking about the hostile network.
Yeah, I can't get. I mean, every time, you know what I'm saying?
Brett was on that stage too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. It was him, Chris Wallace, and Megan. But I can't get Megan out of my head. And I know she's trying to do this switch up, and she's trying to get MAGA on her side and stuff, and with her podcast and stuff, and she's cursing and all that stuff. But I can't get how she treated Donald Trump out of my head.
To me, it was a shock because there was no preparation for that for me. Unless I missed something. Right. She sounded like she was on the Trump train, man. And then the night of that debate, it was like she asked what?
She switched up. Big time. I was like, wait.
That was the beginning of the end of that network.
Where's this coming from? And then you could tell it fell flat because the crowd started laughing at, he joked back at her. And it's like, okay, we're back. But you heard her seriously, no.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be different. This is going to be one of those things. I really don't trust any of the networks. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't trust any networks. I really don't want to see any of the networks interview or do anything for Donald Trump. But if he has to be on there, he has to be on there.
I didn't even watch that interview. Is it worthy?
I didn't watch it. I just saw those.
I don't turn on Fox News. My TV doesn't get Fox News.
Yeah. I just saw those things, and when I saw him, I was like, okay, well, that. But he called them a hostile network, and I was like, okay, well, that's kind of newsworthy.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they are.
That is what they are.
You look back in the. I just noticed that you weren't in the Northern Command.
Right. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back till after tomorrow's show. I'll be back out there.
Yeah.
It'll be spotty, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler are really trying to take over this that John Durham thing, and I'm glad that John Durham isn't backing down from him. But
can you imagine being a Democrat and those are your spokesmen? What scum of the earth? I can't imagine either one of those men did anything good ever.
Wow. Yeah. And what's her name? Luna. Luna's supposed to be bringing that thing against Schiff back up.
Said she has the votes.
Well, I responded. I was like, please make sure you got the votes.
Yeah.
Please. Because I threw something back at Scalise. I was like, why did you let her do that? That was her first bill that's the first thing that she put up there. You should have never let her bring it to the floor unless she had the votes.
Is he still the whip?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You should have never let her bring it to the floor unless it had the votes.
Tells you all you need to know about Scalise.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I never did trust that guy.
I don't either. I mean,
You shoot me, boy, I'm coming full guns at you. He just curled up like a little puppy dog, didn't he?
I know, right. What happened, Jay? What happened to you?
Well, it was funny. My browser crashed. That was kind of a new one. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't have any other windows open on it. So yeah.
I RFK, I was thinking about this yesterday. I like the dude, man. I do. I really like the dude. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about him.
He's a guy talking the truth. That's all you need to do.
Maybe I feel
was
sorry
gonna
for him
say-
or something. I don't know. I mean,
I think he's got a little Trump in him in this way. Is we've been lied to and been fed so much bullshit for so long. When somebody just gets up there and just says like obvious truths, like even if you disagree with him, you're like, okay, I like that guy. Like at least you can talk to me like an adult. We may disagree on policy, but yeah.
and plus, if anybody's really been done worse than Trump, it's the Kennedys.
You remember I said he needs to be Trump's VP and all he needs to do is dismantle the deep state. Like you are the deep state dismantling czar. That's all I want you to do.
Yeah, a bulldog and going and getting But I mean, because you think about what happened to his family, and I'm not saying this, Hutch. I'm not saying his family's hands are clean.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
I mean, look, sometimes the sins of the father do come back on.
Just look at the Godfather 3
yeah.
when he's legitimizing everything. That's the Kennedys.
Yep.
yeah. It's like,
Today we take care of family business. That's the best pistol shooting I ever saw in the courthouse steps.
all debts are settled.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, if for all men, if you've never seen The Godfather, then you need to check it out because that's a rites of passage to becoming a man. You have to check out The Godfather. There he is. That's Vito. No, that's Vito Corleone, man.
Got his Miles Glow cat.
Yeah, that's okay. So there are other stuff out there.
There's all kinds of stuff. You got that House hearing. You've got the Riley Gaines transgender hearing. I don't know if you're seeing any video coming out of that. Like,
I know you're watching that one.
There was a funny part that the guys just sent me a little bit ago, and it was one of the, I can't remember which of the African American Democrats got on and like they're saying Serena Williams or that they can beat Serena Williams and she's strong, she whatever, and she goes on this rant, and then Riley looked at her and said, Serena Williams got beat 6-love by the 203rd ranked man in the world, and she's like, I mean, these people don't even live in reality.
Well, if she got beat, it wasn't in her heyday because she's built like a man.
I was going to say that, but I was holding that back.
She built like, I mean, you wasn't beating Serena in her heyday. But now, you might get in a couple good sets, but.
Are you saying the number 1 ranked tennis player in the world on the women's side would be competitive with the top men's players?
Yes. Martina Navratilova was a machine.
Billie Jean King.
And Billie Jean King did beat
Bobby Riggs.
Yeah. So
Bobby Riggs was a nobody.
No,
well, I mean, she beat him though. She beat him. But Serena's she like benches 300 pounds, boy. I don't know.
Those are exceptions, of course.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Riley Gaines ain't beating her in tennis, I tell you that. But then Serena's not beating Riley in swimming either, because all that weight you kind of drop like a rock.
She's a full-bodied individual.
Yeah, well, I was like, look.
What happened to the other one? Wasn't there 2 of them?
Venus and Serena, yeah.
Yeah, but Venus is like before.
Right.
Before after type of thing. No. I mean, there were sometimes when I looked at Serena, I'm like, that's not fair. Don't they have a weight limit thing going on
Mercy rule.
But she was strong. Yeah, there's some more hearings going on this week too. But the Durham thing was the big one for me. I really wish him well. I knew it wasn't going to be a slam dunk. And actually, when he got put on the case, I told everybody, don't expect a whole lot. Don't expect a whole lot, because you, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know what you're dealing with when you put somebody in there to find out the truth. Because so many people in the government is built to hinder the truth from coming out. So whatever you come in front of the American people with, you have to know that they're going to challenge it and try to destroy the reputation and stuff. And they're trying to make him small. They're trying to make Durham small, just like us. We try to give you the truth on this show every day. A lot of people know that we're out there, and they won't share the show. Now they watch. I swear they watch, but they won't share it. And I'm not talking about our listeners. I'm talking about people of major influence. That's probably why Sebastian Gorka blocked me, because we talked about his
taking a nap in the suit.
Yeah.
Hey,
Dude, you can make
what
fun of
do you want,
us.
man? What do you want?
It was
Right.
funny. It was,
I sleep in my suit every day.
Right. I wear jorts. Like, you can certainly critique my my fashion, and you won't hurt my feelings.
But that's what I hope. I hope that doesn't happen to Red Voice Media, because Red Voice Media is putting out a lot of content, a lot of needed content. But you got your jealous people. Some people be like, why haven't you exploded? Why haven't you been bigger than where you are right now? Well, the answer is easy, because you haven't shared our stuff. You haven't shared our broadcast. You haven't shared what we're doing. And now some people, and I ain't even talking about the people watching us. I'm talking about there are some legitimate people out there that watch us to tear us down. For real. They watch us to tear us down. They watch us, and they might even come into the chat room. Who are these guys? These guys are stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know who we are. We've been here for 12 years.
I get a kick when they come on and say that about Nicole. She's lying.
Yeah.
Right.
She's just risking her life just to entertain us.
You bring up a good point, Hutch, which is people just like, they don't even connect basic logic.
No.
Nicole is putting her life in jeopardy to speak out against communist China.
Yep.
That means, to me, I'm going to kind of listen to what she has to say and kind of go, there's probably something here. It's like President Trump. Literally, 2015, he was one of the probably 10 most influential and popular people in America. He was a billionaire married to a supermodel. He doesn't need all this shit.
Rap songs from coast to coast.
Right. Yeah, and even after the last election, he could have just walked away. And
now they're trying to put him behind the bar. So
we need Cleo to save us. Wayne, where the hell's Cleo?
I don't know. I'm trying to get her back down here.
Oh.
I'm trying to look. Come here, cat. But yeah, I'm looking at some of the stuff that they have done to us over the years, stuff that they've done to our show and our website and stuff. And I think the reason why is because, man, when we were, well, I'm not saying we're not on right now, because I think this is probably our best group that we've had in a long time. But when we were on. You know what I'm saying? We were winning awards. We were like it's like, yeah, that's Wayne. Yeah, wait to share. And now all of a sudden it's like everybody in their granddaddy's mama got podcasts. And most of them aren't saying basically anything. It's really hard. Like the Red Voice Media Network just happened to get a combination of voices that can talk and that can have a conversation. But there's just a whole lot of people out there right now that just have a conversation or get on there and talk for 3 hours. Look, seriously, I can't do that. I can't. Now, I mean, if you pay me $5 million a year, I'll get up there and do it. But I can't do that and not get paid for something, but once you get paid, then you be like Ron DeSantis, you be like a little slave. You gotta get those kickbacks when you get paid like that. You know what I'm saying? Either way. The meat. We're just talking about it. Oh, okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene snipes at copycat Lauren Boebert for stealing her Biden impeachment idea.
Give me a break. See, that's MTG. Come on, man. This isn't high school.
There was another representative last week that also put impeachment of Biden, and MTG didn't say anything. So now Lauren Boebert's out there, but Lauren Boebert is copycat, man.
Here's the good part about that. I mean, it's not good, but it'll be the revealing part. Watch how the Republicans vote.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, something I watched a little bit of Lauren Boebert, and she had 2 words in there that I didn't hear MTG or the other guy last week say. She was impeaching him for high crimes and misdemeanors. I was like, okay, well, okay.
That's the only thing you can impeach him for.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, you kind of going along with it right now. You high crimes and misdemeanors. Okay, there you go. But
I mean, you offset that with how did that Hunter Biden case affect anything like that? Yeah, that not settlement, that plea.
Yeah, I gotta say, it was funny because we were talking a little bit about it. I wouldn't be surprised if part of that plea bargain was not like, Joe, you're done running. You know what I mean? Go have a health problem, and
either that or you can't try anything about this guy again.
Right.
There's something in there that's going to hamstring a prosecutor, I think. I mean, unless you keep Hunter out of it, but I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and that stuff doesn't really intrigue me. But I'd like to see somebody go to freaking jail, though.
That's messed up, though. Did anybody think that would happen?
I don't think they'd let somebody off on a federal gun crime. That's something. There's a lot of people in prison with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and they're talking right now.
I love you guys. I love you like brothers, but are you new here? Like, is this your first day? Like, there is a 0% chance they have the Epstein files. They've convicted them of sex trafficking, and powerful people have been like, they have it, and nobody's been prosecuted. I mean, the only way Hunter Biden's ever going to do any jail time, I mean, I want him to do it, and more so to get the word out to the American people. Like, people are pissed that nobody's above the law but Hunter Biden. And I think until us as citizens rise up and say, like, we've had enough of this, they're just going to keep doing it. Like, they're doing it right in front of our face.
But you know what? I can take what you just said, and I can and I can say, okay, well, I said that about Hillary Clinton.
Right.
I said that about Barack Obama. But it keeps going on. It keeps stenching up.
Right.
To the high heavens that this stuff is continuing, or they're allowing this injustice to continue. And the only thing that we can do is pipe at it. Oh man, I can't believe this.
Joe Biden and the Biden family's power is waning.
Yeah.
They're not going to be powerful much longer.
Yeah, the problem is it's the establishment. And I mean, I think that's part of what bit Trump in the ass the first time. He got in there and he didn't realize the enemy is on our side too. And that's why when he was making,
we didn't know.
And like average citizens don't know, right. like they want to believe that, Christopher Wray, he's turned out to be trash. But like you would hope that a career guy in the agency who says the right things, you would hope he'd get in there and actually not run a corrupt, Merrick Garland.
One of the things that happened there, if you recall, in 2020 or 2016 rather, all the way through 2020, I don't know what percentage it was, but Donald Trump didn't have very many appointees.
Right.
They weren't allowing him. He should have fired. Remember when Bill Clinton came into office, they fired every federal prosecutor on the team.
Right.
And rehired new ones. And that's what people usually do. For some reason, Trump didn't do that.
Well, he couldn't.
Well, he wasn't getting anybody through. That's true.
Exactly. Right.
That's what I
Right.
meant.
Right. He couldn't.
Well, that's because Republicans were obstructing him.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, we had super majorities darn near. Like, we could have pushed through any nominees.
Paul
They could
Ryan
have
of
said-
Fox News is a traitor.
Right.
A traitor to the nation. So is anybody that did that. And I think, again, this is the first time we knew that.
Right.
Everybody had an idea the government was flaky, but after Donald Trump, it's right there. How long will people sit back and get their lunch money taken off them like this? You're right about the outcome. People have to stand up.
Well, and I think eventually, if we get back on track, it's going to be Democrats and Republicans, like normals, like the people in your neighborhood that go, you know what, like we can disagree on some of this stuff like tax policy or Second Amendment, but we need to restructure the federal government because it's out of control.
But
like
we can't have a discussion on the Second Amendment.
What's that?
That you can't have disagreements on the Second Amendment.
Oh, right. But what I'm saying
either
is
an amendment or it's not.
What I'm saying is let's just say as Democrats and Republicans, we say, let's leave that alone for 4 years and let's go reconstruct the federal government. Like that's the way to make it happen. That's the path.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it
bleed,
down.
Right.
Bleed it out, starve it.
Exactly.
Cut the
Take
budget.
money for the agencies and put it on the debt.
Exactly. Shut down each agency, send it back to the states and say, we're just going to worry about the national defense.
And we'll buy out everybody that's working in them agencies. We'll buy you out.
Yeah. Yep. And
Tax-free.
for the ones that are in there right now, we'll give you the next. No, you know what? I ain't even gonna be that generous. We'll give you the next year of severance. I ain't even gonna go. You know, at first I was gonna go, okay, 10 years. No. We'll give you the next year of severance because of what you did. You know, and then you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But we're shutting down the government. We're shutting down
selling the buildings.
We're selling. Yeah, we're making them in this.
No, we'll make them homeless shelters.
There we go. In each state, every federal building becomes a homeless shelter.
Can you imagine our founding fathers if they understood when they revolted against England how big and powerful and all-encompassing the federal government would be? Like they would be like, guys, we gave you one job. Right. Not to let the federal government get out of control. Like all the other stuff. Right. Like you were supposed to keep a small federal government. Like that was the plan. And how did you screw that up?
Well, look, they had rules.
Tax.
They had rules. Look, the country has regressed. They were smart as hell back then.
Right.
If you look at everything that they did, everything that they came up with, it's almost like they remind me of the young Jim Jordan and the young Trey Gowdy and they came in from all angles to make sure that everything was covered. I don't know how they did it. I don't know. They were smart enough back in that day to do that
with no electricity.
Basically, you know, you get the oil in there, or just turn on that flash. Just turn on the light. And we'll just do it at it, whatever. But they did all that. They got it all straight. And the people and the people in government today, they push all that stuff aside to govern by emotions
and money,
and stacks, right? In stacks. Man, oh my God, man, if they could come back. If they could come back right now, I'm talking about just the early part. not the middle part, but the early part. If they come back right now, boy, they'd be cleaning out the House of Representatives. They'd be cleaning out the Senate. Y'all have bastardized.
They did.
Y'all
Well,
have
just
bastardized this country.
read the Federalist Papers. I mean, it's kind of hard reading, but I mean, if you would go back to the founding fathers and say, yeah, we're going to start this program called Social Security where the government's responsible for people's retirements,
Wow.
they would have looked at you like, are you stupid? Like, well, what about poor people? That's what charity's for. Like, you know, that's why you have local charities that help people in the communities and all that.
Buyout by 12 years in retirement. My
Thrift savings plan. That's your 401k if you work for the government.
and next year's salary, you got a deal. Okay, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we got more here on the Wayne Dupree podcast here on the Red Voice Media Network. We'll be right back.
Biden and his cronies have lost over $3 trillion of America's retirement savings in 2022 alone. With inflation running rampant and the stock market crashing, do you have a plan to protect your wealth? Our friends at American Alternative Assets help you protect your retirement savings by rolling over your IRA or 401k into a gold IRA. Fact is, you can hold physical gold and silver in your retirement account while maintaining its tax-deferred status. Visit protectfrombiden.com today to get your free wealth protection guide. This guide will give you all the answers you need. American Alternative Assets is an A+ and accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. Protect your savings now before it's too late. Visit protectfrombiden.com. Individual results may vary. There is no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. It's a crazy world out there, and we're facing more uncertainty than our country has faced in a long time, if ever. And the most important advice that we can give you and your loved ones is be prepared. Most people don't realize they need something until it's too late, whether it's a natural disaster, a sustained power outage, political upheaval, or God forbid, war. You need to be prepared. Don't put yourself in that situation. Have food and water on hand to provide for you and your loved ones during the worst of times, and then pray you never need it. Thankfully, we have just the solution for you. Heaven's Harvest has everything you need to prepare for the unexpected. You get prepared, and you support a pro-America Christian company that shares your values at the same time. Everyone wins. And the best news is, you also get discounts on emergency survival foods, heirloom vegetable seed kits, water filtration and storage kits, and loads of other survival resources, such as guides on how to grow and preserve your foods. So get ahead, be prepared, and survive with a company that shares your values. And we have you covered with great discounts. Go to heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10%. Again, that's heavensharvest.com and use promo code RVM to save 10% on your order.
And the longtime CNN producer fired last month over child trafficking allegations has been named in a Connecticut civil lawsuit alleging despicable acts of horrific sexual abuse and exploitation. For several years prior to 2020, the defendant solicited young girls, including the minor plaintiff, for the purpose of knowingly persuading, inducing, enticing, and coercing them to engage in sexual activity, sexual exploitation, and/or sexual trafficking, the lawsuit filed last week in Bridgeport alleges. Criminally, Griffin faces one trafficking charge along with 2 counts of attempted trafficking in federal court in Vermont after allegedly soliciting parents with underage children. Between April and July of 2020, Griffin allegedly invited 3 women and their underage daughters over for the purposes of sexual training. According to the federal indictment, only the Nevada woman took him up on his offer, according to prosecutors. The suit filed on behalf of a 9-year-old Jane Doe and custodial next best friend, Janet Doe, is seeking up to $15 million in damages and fees. Some allegations likely mirror those in a 2020 Nevada criminal complaint against the victim's adoptive mother in the federal indictment of Griffin announced last month. Griffin allegedly paid a Nevada woman more than $3,000 to fly to Boston and then stay at his multi-million-dollar Vermont vacation home for a week of sex crimes that involved her young adopted daughter. The evidence against Griffin allegedly includes drone video he took showing a completely naked 9-year-old girl standing next to him in his underwear, according to court filings. When confronted with this video during an interview by FBI agents, Griffin's first response was merely to suggest he was not looking at the naked girl, despite that she was standing so close to him to be touching. The prosecutor's pretrial memo reads, Fox News is not using the woman's name to avoid exposing the child's victim's identity. Shortly after the woman's arrest in August.
CNN. Wait. This is CNN.
Multi-million-dollar vacation home.
Jesus.
He looked like it. He looked like a pedo, man.
He did, didn't he?
What the hell's wrong with these people, man?
Yeah,
how do you get like that?
Yeah, he looked just like Mitt Romney. So with the am I going beyond the realm when I said the apple probably doesn't fall too far from the tree from the people over there at that CNN bathhouse? Because you got some crazy things going on over there. That
I mean,
network.
the dude with the Zoom meeting.
Tubin?
Yeah.
Oops, I left my camera on.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nasty. Yeah,
It was. There's all kind of nasty stuff. Don Lemon.
Yeah.
He assaulted that guy.
Put his hand in his pocket and made him smell it or something like that.
Oh, man.
He touched his junk and said, smell it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I gotta say though, I mean, the pedo stuff's different from the sexual deviance, but I mean, after the sexual revolution,
All in the same room.
What? Well, yeah, but I mean, everything is everything. Like, you got guys on TV. There was a dude on CNN the other day saying how, like, we shouldn't worry about monkeypox because it like stifles our joy. It's like, how about you stop having gay orgies? Like, this just did. You know, you want to not get the monkeypox. Like, I'm pretty sure I have a 0% chance of getting
I ain't get it. I know.
I mean, like, just follow the rule book. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't mix the digestive system and the reproductive system, and you'll be fine. You'll be totally good.
Ugh.
That was bound to end nastily anyway. I mean, think about it. No,
I gotta say though,
not think about it.
You know, and if you're following the LGBTQIA, like where it's going,
You keep adding letters to that damn thing.
right? Yeah, E-I-E-I-O. The big thing they're talking about now is minor attracted people, MAPs. They actually have a minor attracted people flag now.
Oh, just wait for what's next. Wait for what's next. When it's animals. When it's animals.
Yeah.
Minor attracted people. What is that?
Oh, that means
pedophiles.
Basically, it's pedophiles, and how they're going to start doing it, and they've already started, is they said, just because you're attracted to kids, it's not bad. It's only if you act on that. And then it's going to move into, well, she was 16. Why?
It was consensual. It was mutually consensual.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep pushing it down. And for those out there saying, we'll never accept that, if you would have told us 10 years ago that boys would be cutting their stick and berries off as young people, you would have said, oh, we'll never put up with that.
I'll tell you what, you look at the Karens that are putting out the trans boys.
Right.
Because that's who's doing it. It's these psycho American women.
Yep.
Go to Walmart and look at the young women in there.
Right.
It'll freak you out. I mean, if you specifically go to do that, you will see more things attached to their bodies and freaking paint all over their face and different color hair that God never made and shaved heads. I mean, we're doomed. I'm just saying, I was in upstate Pennsylvania seeing this stuff. I'm like, oh man, it has penetrated all of it.
Hutch said penetrated.
We're doomed. We're doomed. We're doomed. Oh my God.
Hey, can we talk about accounting errors too, guys? Did you see that yesterday?
6.2. Wait, hold it. I got her on here too. I got her. I got her.
Oh, you got the video? This is
I got her. Where's she at?
I'll tell you, just to preface this thing, but when I was in the United States Army, probably 7-8 years ago, they decided to change the financial system because no person could say how much the Army spent.
Right.
There was no human being alive that had the capability of that because everything was what they call stovepiped. Like equipment maintenance had its own finances, food had its own finances, ammunition had its own, and nobody put them all together. Like you could get an answer from the ammo guys and from the maintenance guys, but there wasn't one person that could tell you how much we spent last year.
Right.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I thought I had it. I don't have it.
So the money went to Ukraine, $6 billion, right?
6.2 accident. It's an accident.
And nobody will go to get court-martialed.
You know what? And I thought about that last night too. I was like, ain't nobody got fired.
No, nobody's been fired in American government in 10 years.
$6.2 billion. Explosion of unknown origin rocks Paris. Breaking news. I guess they blew up another church.
Well, hey, just to get back to that 6.2 trillion. So, like, after we went through the Hunter Biden stuff, I was just feeling dirty. I'm like, oh, that's a two-party government, two-tier justice system. And then I saw they had a press conference where they said, due to an accounting error, we have $6.2 trillion. But here's the thing Americans got to understand. They had spent less money on Ukraine than they thought. You know, like when you say that, you think it's like, oh, I forgot I had extra money in my checking account. No, they could have said like, you know what? We're not going to send that 6.2 trillion because they haven't spent the money. It's not like extra money sitting there. So they said we were approved to spend 6 trillion more. So we're going to spend $6 trillion more.
Billion.
Or yeah. Or billion more. And then they approved 1.2 billion later on top of that. So congratulations, Mr. and Miss Americans. $8.2 billion to Ukraine yesterday afternoon.
Whoa.
And tell me debt ceiling doesn't
Have you
matter.
seen the battlefield report? I mean, our armor is getting trashed.
Is it?
Our Bradley's getting blown up. Yeah, these tankers in the Ukraine army don't even want to go to the field, man. They're out there and they're faking maintenance problems, so they don't have to roll their tanks out. They're getting destroyed.
You know what? I saw a headline where Russia was gaining air superiority over Ukraine. I was like, well, I mean,
they always had it.
They always had it.
Yeah, they just didn't. Well, yeah, you know, we this stuff that we said, you know, this stuff that we said a long time ago.
Well, and when you see like liberal organizations that are in the bag for Ukraine reporting, I've seen reports where it's like 25-30% of the equipment we've sent them has been destroyed. Mm-hmm. And guessing they probably understate that, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're probably sitting there where it's like 50, 60, 70% of the stuff we sent them is just gone.
Well, here's a gift to the audience. Here's a gift to our audience. Be ready at any time for stories to start changing about Ukraine.
Right.
It's inevitable, as we told you a year ago.
Right. But you know what? I was thinking about the $6.2 billion and them just offering that news to the American people. I'm like, why would y'all just offer that to the American people? You know it's bad news. Why would y'all just throw that out there? Did somebody threaten y'all or something? Is it more? And you know, you're trying to get ahead of it by just putting that number out there or something. Why would they just come out and say, well, it looks like we gave more than what we is $6.2 billion. It wasn't a waste or anything, but usually they hide stuff like that, you know.
Just to put it in perspective, because I haven't done this for a while. $6 billion. You think of a guy, you hit the lottery and you're a millionaire. Now you got 1.5 million. You're set for life. Mm-hmm. $6 billion is $6,000 million.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, think of what you could do in America.
Oh, there would be no homeless.
No,
there would be no homeless. There would be like
trains would derail.
Right.
And think, Trump only wanted 25 million for the wall.
Right.
This is treason.
He only wanted $25 million for the wall, and they lost, or they mishandled $6.2 billion.
Yep.
And is it mishandled or was it funneled?
Well, no, actually, how the trillion worked is, so they approved X amount of money, let's say $1 billion. So we sent them $1 billion worth of equipment of our stuff. So we gave up our active stuff, and then we paid people to make new stuff. Well, we were able to get that for less than what we sent them, if that makes sense. So our replacement cost was less. So then one would say, well, hey, we sent them this stuff. We're good. Let's not spend the $6 billion. But the government said, well, no. We already approved the budget. So we're going to send them more of our stuff. We'll pay the military industrial complex more money to build our stuff. And I mean, like, it's not money we had to spend. But you know why they said, Wayne, they have reached the point where they don't care. Like, there's so much news. Everything's talking about Trump.
When you look at the other stories, I swear, sometimes I feel like that too. They're saying it's, watch this, they're not going to do anything.
Right. Hunter Biden.
It's like the Hunter Biden, the same thing. Why they don't,
all the stuff on the laptop, all the stuff with Burisma, drugs, prostitution, federal gun charges, like the guy has to pay, and tax evasion. The guy's got to pay the taxes he didn't pay already. Like, that's his fine.
And the federal gun charge. I mean, nobody gets away with that. He's a crackhead that lied on an ATF thing. If that happened to any one of us, we're going to jail for 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. Without question. The trial would last 5 minutes.
Well,
Like
yeah.
and
they didn't publicize it. They didn't talk about the evidence. They didn't release the indictment. They have the secret meetings, and then they negotiate. Okay, well, here you go. And why wouldn't Hunter Biden take that deal? You make the laptop go away for that, like, all day.
Oh, yeah. That's a no-brainer for him.
Right.
Jacob, 83 to 85, 1983 to 1985, 2nd Infantry Division.
Merrick Garland was asked about Hunter Biden.
Reflect a different standard of justice depending on political leanings?
So, as I said, from the moment of my appointment as Attorney General, I would leave this matter in the hands of the United States Attorney, who was appointed by the previous president and assigned to this matter by the previous administration, that he would be given full authority to decide the matter as he decided was appropriate. And that's what he's done. And if you have any further questions about that matter, you should direct him to the U.S. Attorney to explain his decision.
No accountability.
None whatsoever. You are in charge. The buck is supposed to stop with you. I'm sure that attorney, U.S. Attorney, spoke with you in depth, in length, about why he was making his decision and why he was doing the plea deal and stuff. And again, that's one thing about this administration. You just got weak-kneed people up there.
They're pawns. They're puppets.
Just totally tissue paper feeling statutes, you know. And it's like
No. I disagree. Those guys are like Merrick Garland. We all know Merrick Garland told him to give Hunter a cherry deal. And they're going to lean into the talking points that it was a Trump appointee. Read one Hunter Biden story about the charges. It doesn't say the Trump appointed whatever. And Merrick just say, yeah, no, like, cut a cake deal, make it done. And then I'm just going to deny it. Like, he's up there lying. You could get Freedom of Information Act. You could find out he had conversations with him. He's just lying. He don't care. That's not weak. That's just telling us to F off.
See, I think I'm going to go the other way with it. I think that these people were selected for their weakness. I don't think that we know who's behind the scenes running this stuff. Somebody's out there telling him what. I mean, that's my opinion.
Right.
Because you look at them all. Granholm. I mean, Mayorkas.
Oh, man, Granholm's a piece of work.
All of them. They're up there doing hideous, heinous things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you know, I just don't think that Merrick Garland's running anything. I mean, maybe he is, but it just seems like he's like the face for TV.
Right. But I mean, like them just taking the position that, like, we're just going to do whatever the hell we want, lie about it. And what are you guys going to do about it? Like, you know,
directed to do that.
Right.
Here's that Hank Johnson thing I was talking about earlier.
Individuals you prosecuted were ever charged with being part of a hoax or a fraud or a witch hunt or a politically motivated deep state conspiracy against Donald Trump. Isn't that correct?
I would not say that that's accurate.
You mean you did charge somebody with being a part of a hoax?
We charged Mr. Sussman with having knowingly provided false information to the FBI regarding Alpha Bank.
But he was acquitted though, right?
Well, that wasn't your question.
Mr. Sussman was acquitted after you charged him, correct?
Grand jury found
he was found innocent by a unanimous jury of 12.
That's not true.
Well,
what's true is the grand jury found probable cause to indict Mr. Sussman.
A jury of his peers acquitted him, though, correct?
And a trial jury.
You're not going to disagree on that, are you, Mr. Durham?
I'm going to try to answer your question as well.
Well, let me ask you this.
Oh, Hank.
Don't you just want John Durham at your barbecue?
Oh, Hank. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Hank Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Wayne Dupree podcast. We broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 12 to 1 Eastern, from 12 to 1:30. No, you know when we broadcast.
We're on the internet.
Yeah, we're all over it. We're all over it. Big news. I don't know. Okay. All right. What is this cis thing that Elon Musk has been talking about? Do you know?
So one of the insults to people on the right from people on the left on Twitter is they'll call you a cisgendered white man, meaning you are meaning you're normal. And
heterosexual.
You're a heterosexual white. So if they call me a cisgendered male, I am a normal heterosexual male. And the left calls us that as insults. But like for me, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm a heterosexual male. Like that's okay. And so Elon labeled it hate speech because the left was hurling at us like we were like it was hate speech, but like people, I mean, it's like if you call me old, like, yeah, you're right, I'm old. Like, congratulations, I'm a boomer. Okay, great. Like, it's not an insult, you know? So yeah, so Elon has labeled that hate speech, which is stupid. It's just a distraction.
The whole term hate speech is stupid.
Right.
The whole using hate as a descriptor is fake. How do you know what I hate?
Right.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I was thinking about that. Last week. I was like, hate speech. Bad speech is bad speech. Good speech is
crimes
good.
are the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
so you're saying that one murder is more important than another murder.
You know, putting all these names on top of stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it started back then, but you know, when Democrats wanted to label us African American, when many of us had never even been to Africa, but they want to name us African American, and actually that pissed off some Africans because Africans don't even like Black Americans. But you know, it's this labeling stuff. The Democrats need it.
Yep,
they need it, and we don't, but they do. Yep. But then you also have some of our people that have got caught into it, and
we participate. That's exactly right. That's 100% right. Stop participating.
Yeah,
I agree. I've been saying that for 10 years. Yeah. It's they make up these words and they throw them out there, and some genius starts reusing them, thinking he invented something.
Right.
You know, it's like the sweeper pitch in baseball. Nobody ever heard that. It's a slider. You know?
Let's go in baseball. Let's go.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Right.
I mean, that's just an example, but
right, I like it.
Whoever heard of the word cis?
Right.
I'm normal, man.
Yeah. I ain't never heard of it before.
I have twig and berries.
That's why
our people they repeat it, and it's getting strength, and It's like it's been happening a long time. You talk about the African American thing. What that's for, if you recall back in Bosnia and Serbia and all that was going on in the Balkans, you had countries that were made up. Czechoslovakia was the Czech Republic and Slovak. So you have all these different things lumped together. And when hostilities broke out, it was balkanized. That's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to make it a country of 10 different types of people, 20 different types of people. Mm-hmm. So we argue and fight against each other. So we never unite and take them down the way we should.
Right.
Well said, Hutch.
Division is it. Division is it. That's why I was doing an election a few years ago, and I was watching CNN, and CNN was like, well, the black vote is 37% when you have white educated and black educated. And I was like, why do y'all have to do that? I mean, why do y'all have to break it down like black vote, white vote, Hispanic vote?
Sickening.
I mean, I never signed on to it. I don't like when I see other people doing it, but you can't stop other people from doing it. But you don't have to participate in doing it. And
I'll tell you a word that I've refused to use: gay.
Right. I say homosexual.
It's a homosexual. That's not a trans woman. That's a gay dude. I just used it. That's a homosexual guy.
Wait. Trans woman. So does that mean a dude that thinks he's a girl or God? We need a flow chart.
I can tell. I got another word for
language now.
I got another word. I got another word that we can use for that too. I mean, that was used through the 70s and 80s and early 90s for the queer squishy people too. Yeah, I mean, like John Durham said, if you want to go there, we can go there.
That's right. But like I was saying about the way that they keep on changing things, I'm old enough that I remember hearing black people being called colored and Negro and Afro-American.
Man,
it's
my father did not like that colored. I tell you, I tell you that right now.
You're right back to it. People of color.
But he's like, he did not like that colored stuff. He was like,
hey, when I moved from Pittsburgh out to central Pennsylvania in 1985,
mm-hmm.
I had a supervisor that still called black people colored.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, in normal 85,
man,
in normal conversation.
I graduated in 86. So, if I would hear that, I'd be like,
this is that's like what we did do. Even the white guys, whoa, man, what do you get? Come on, Tom.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that's old.
Colored. Yeah, I mean,
boy.
I just won't be going over to your house for a barbecue. What you got that cross back there for?
Hang on, let me grab the torch.
Why is it glowing at night?
Fry it up. They like fried foods.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh, cut that watermelon. Yeah. Cut it that way. Hutch. I know. Jared, give me some last thoughts.
Well, hey, folks, there's a ton going on. You've got censor motion today to be on the lookout for. You've got articles of impeachment.
Is that today or tomorrow?
I think it's today, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got censor or impeachment. MTG's coming out saying she's going to impeach somebody because she's jealous of Beaupert. Like the stuff happening in Washington is pretty spicy. Plus a couple good hearings. So tomorrow's show should be fire. I would encourage y'all to tune in.
I'm starting to think we made a mistake with MTG. I don't know, something about it.
I know we did. I know we did.
You said it, and I disagreed with you, but I'm starting to come around
from the beginning.
I don't know what's going on with that woman.
I was like, she is not for the cause. She's
crazy.
She is for the front, and
she's a Karen.
All that money that she got when she got taken off of the committee, that just exploded her head a whole lot more. I mean, and so it's like she's a Frankenstein of her own making right now, and she thinks that she's untouchable. But sooner or later, that ladder, she's got to come down that mountain sooner or later, and she's going to pass all the people that she passed when she's going up.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hutch.
No, that's it. I just something to watch for tomorrow, maybe if Nicole comes on. A Chinese aircraft carrier group led by the aircraft carrier Shandong sailed through the Strait of Taiwan today, just 2 days after Secretary of State Anthony Blinken concluded talks with Chinese officials. Probably get into that tomorrow.
Yeah, and also I read earlier this morning, that Biden called Xi a dictator after their meeting. I was like, oh, okay, see, and that's why I wanted to know from Nicole on Monday. I was like, is this all an act? Are they going to change when they get back on the American soil and they can say whatever they want to say back on the American soil? So yeah, I kind of figured that they were going to do something like that. All right, we got to go. Thank you, Red Voice Media Network, Hutch, JR. I'll see you tomorrow.